Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Golden Bachelor's Barry Bear Murden, the heartbreaking love story behind Australia's new reality TV star, is about to charm the nation on The Golden Bachelor. But before Barry Bear Murden began his quest for love on television, he captured Australia's heart for a very different reason. 14 years ago, Barry and his late wife Audrey appeared on A Current Affair in a moving two-part special that brought the nation to tears. Back then, Barry looked almost unrecognizable with jet black hair and no mustache, as he stood by Audrey's side while she battled a terminal brain tumor. Audrey's final wish was simple but selfless. She wanted to secure a home for her husband and their 3 young sons, Declan, Jack and Charlie. With the help of A Current Affair, local real estate agents and hundreds of generous Sydney tradies, that dream became a reality. "The peace of mind that it gives me knowing that the boys that Barry have a place of their own," Audrey said, fighting back tears during filming for Audrey's wish. The courageous mum, who inspired a wave of national compassion, said the love and support shown by complete strangers gave her an extra year of quality with my kids, including one final Christmas together in their new home. Audrey passed away in August the following year, aged 44. Her death left Barry heartbroken and their 3 boys, then just 4, 7 and 8 years old, without their beloved mum. Audrey grew up in Nova Scotia, Canada, before meeting Barry and moving with him to Manly in 1998. The couple dreamed of owning a home near the beach, but that plan was derailed when Audrey was diagnosed in 2009 with glioblastoma multiforme, a rare and aggressive form of brain cancer. Having already beaten breast cancer in her 20s, she and Barry spent $90,000 on treatment, desperate for a miracle. "How am I going to tell my children they're not going to have a mum?" Audrey told A Current Affair. "I can't imagine what their life will be without me and what my life would be like without them. I so don't want to die. I don't. It's just so unfair. I thought what a cruel irony to give a mother a beautiful family and then to take her away from them, especially my young babies." Refusing to give up, Audrey's determination inspired her local community to rally around her. A Current Affair, along with realtors Robert and Leonie Clarick, helped the family purchase a rundown home in desperate need of repair. What followed was one of the biggest renovation rescues in Australian television history, with hundreds of tradespeople volunteering their time and materials to rebuild the house from the ground up in just 10 days. "I'm glad I'm alive to see this happen," Audrey said through tears as the home transformation unfolded. More than a decade on, Barry and his sons still live in the home Audrey fought so hard to give them. Now adults, Declan 17, Jack 20 and Charlie 21, they were reportedly the ones who encouraged their dad to take a chance on love again by joining The Golden Bachelor. It's the first time the franchise has aired in Australia, with Barry, now 61, meeting 20 women hoping to capture his heart. Rumors have swirled that Barry wasn't the producer's first choice for The Golden Bachelor, but stepped in after another leading man pulled out. Barry confirmed he had been approached multiple times before finally agreeing to do the show. "I think I rejected it 1, maybe 2 times, he admitted. "You know, you only live once and it's never too late to find love." The widower revealed he did fall for one of the women during filming, and cheekily confessed to having a soft spot for host Samantha Armitage, admitting he would have liked to have given her a rose. Barry Murden, known affectionately as Bear, was married to Audrey, the love of his life. Theirs was a marriage of promise and partnership. Audrey was diagnosed in 2009 with a very aggressive malignant brain tumor. For 2 years, Bear was by her side, supporting her in her treatments, caring for her and sharing life with her. Then, in 2011, Audrey passed away. Bear suddenly found himself widowed with 3 young sons, Charlie, Jack and Declan. The loss was not just personal, it reshaped his everyday life. Audrey's passing left a void but also responsibilities. As a father, Bear had to step up in new ways. He had to move forward while carrying grief, while helping his sons find their own footing in a world without their mum. For many years, his priorities were clear: be present, be strong, be the father. Time passed. The boys grew. Bear stayed focused on raising them, on work, on day-to-day life, perhaps because moving forward with love again felt both daunting and out of place. He once described being in survival mode after Audrey's passing. He says he didn't really put himself first again for a long time. Opening up his heart to possibility was something that felt distant, abstract. He tried dating, but often felt that the people he met weren't the ones his sons approved of, or perhaps that he himself was being too cautious. His boys are adults now, in their late teens and early 20s. Only when they had started moving out into the world, Bear says, did he realize just how long it had been since he considered what he wanted from love. When Channel 9 approached him to be Australia's Golden Bachelor, Bear was at a crossroads. The timing, first the loss, then years of focus on fatherhood, had run its course. He was ready. As he put it, his boys encouraged him to follow his heart, to take a chance. Bear has been open about the fear. Opening your heart again feels risky. The Golden Bachelor is a public arena for something as private and tender as falling in love. But the very premise of the show, second chances, seasoned hearts, emotional honesty, seemed to align with where Bear was at. He admitted he wasn't someone who had ever been very into modern dating apps. He values connection, authenticity. It's clear he decided the show was not just a spectacle, but a chance to meet someone in a meaningful way. To find someone who understands loss, who values family, and who wants more than superficiality. Losing Audrey taught Bear many lessons. It taught him about resilience, the kind that doesn't look dramatic but happens in small choices each day: getting up, caring for children, continuing with work, keeping some hope alive. Grief taught him what it means to love genuinely, for better or worse, in sickness, in health. It also taught him what he doesn't want: pretending, rushing, settling just because comfort seems easier. And what he does want: companionship, someone to share laughter and tears with, someone who has lived, who understands that love sometimes involves letting go, sometimes involves fear, but always requires courage. These are not just abstract longings, they are shaped by his past. Bear's 3 sons have been his anchor, not just emotionally but in the way they have influenced his life decisions. They saw a dad who was navigating loss and longing. They saw him being too careful. And they encouraged him to try. To date, to live, to open his heart again. At the same time, there is the tension of their protective presence. They've sometimes questioned the women Bear chose to date, saying Bear was bringing around people who seemed too young, too flashy, which reveals both their love for him and their concerns. It also shows that for Bear, finding love again is not just about his own heart. It's about family, trust, respect, and or rather transformed across 2 cultures. Originally from Canada, he moved to Australia with Audrey in 1998. He built a life in Sydney's northern beaches. He became a sailor, an adventurous type. A man who enjoys the outdoors, who pushes himself physically, emotionally. That adventurousness shows in what he picks to do in his free time: sailing, riding, connecting with nature. And in the way he's choosing to do something out of his comfort zone, putting himself on TV, letting vulnerability be broadcast. His career: he works as an infrastructure engineer and is involved in data center management and advisory work, shows discipline, steadiness, attention to the structures that hold things together, literal and metaphorical. For someone whose own structure was shaken by loss, this work might have offered a kind of anchor. But maybe also it left some parts of the heart to be repaired or to be rebuilt. That's where a second chance at love enters, not just as a romantic ideal but as an act of faith. Love doesn't end with loss. Bear's love for Audrey didn't disappear when she died, rather it becomes a part of who he is. His heart remains shaped by that loss even as he reaches out for new love. Grief isn't linear. The years of fatherhood, survival, focus on raising his sons. It wasn't about forgetting but about caring, preserving, making meaning of life even when part of it was missing. Courage takes many forms. Not just jumping into new relationships but risking vulnerability, letting down defensiveness, trusting again. Family matters. His sons' perspectives, their growth, their support, they matter. Love doesn't happen in a vacuum. Looking forward, what might come next? As The Golden Bachelor unfolds, we will see Bear navigating romantic possibility with 20 women who bring their own stories of love, loss, hope. We will see him being open, possibly messy, possibly awkward, but also hopeful. His authenticity will be tested, his heart will be measured. Viewers will watch him make choices: which connection feels real, which partner honors his past but builds a new future. There is risk, rejection, disappointment, the pressure of public expectation. But there is also redemption, peace, joy, the possibility of love that doesn't erase what came before but embraces it, weaves it in. Bear seems ready for that. He says he's not putting on a show, that he wants the genuine kind of romance. Barry Bear Murden isn't just a TV star waiting to hand out roses. He's a man who has loved deeply, lost unbearably, and waited bravely. His story isn't fairytale perfect, it doesn't pretend to be, but there's something profoundly beautiful about hope, especially when it's hard-earned. The heartbreak behind Bear isn't something that closed him off to love. In many ways it opened him, or will open him, to something more real, textured, compassionate. As audiences, we'll be drawn not just to the glamour but to the fragile moments. The first time he laughs authentically, the first time he hesitates, the first time he wonders, could this be it? And maybe when we see Bear find someone who sees both the man he was with Audrey and the man he is now and wants to be a partner in life's next act, that will feel like a victory not just for him, but for all of us who believe in second chances.